Hey everyone, welcome to another segment of Rewiring Minds. I am Michelle Jacob and thank you so much for joining me again today. Today I wanted to talk about the power of our thoughts in creating the life that we desire, creating the life that we want. What do I mean by that? Well, you gotta stay tuned for the rest of this episode to find out. I will also be sharing with you a quick and easy technique you can use to rewire your mind, especially in the area of your thoughts, so you can experience increased levels of happiness and inner peace. All right, stay tuned and let's dive right in. So the National Science Foundation, they published this article where they indicated that an average human has about 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day. That's a lot of thoughts. Now, out of this 60,000 thoughts, what they said was 80% of the thoughts we think of is negative in nature. And out of that 80%, guess what? 95% of the thoughts we think of is exactly the same as the day before. So basically, we're just playing the same tape in our head over and over again. Now, one of the scientific studies showed that out of this 85% of the things that we worry about never ends up happening. And the 15% what we worry about, when it does happen, people have indicated that they were able to cope with it much better than they anticipated, or that experience had taught them something. You know by now, if you watch my previous videos, I talk about negative thoughts leading to negative emotions because your brain, your mind doesn't know the difference that it's a thought and not reality. To your mind, a thought equals to reality. When you think a thought, the same emotions that are expressed and the same chemicals that are released when you're actually going through the experience gets released in your body. So you're causing the same damage that you would when you're going through a negative situation in your life just by thinking that thought. That's the power of your thought. Thoughts are so powerful. Our thoughts have the ability to create the life we want. And what do I mean by that? Just take a second, look around you. So if I look around me, I see my couch, I see my TV, see the table. Think of all these things. These were all created by humans, but before they were created, they were a thought. Someone thought, hey, maybe I can design a place to sit on, or maybe I could design this kind of a couch. It was a thought. Then the thought became the creation. Thought became whatever we ended up creating for ourselves. So remember, your thoughts are very, very powerful, and your thoughts can create your life. And you can choose. Before me even knowing any of this, I wasn't even aware of where I lived in most of the time. And what I came to know is I often lived in the future. I used to have imaginary conversations in my head on what I was going to say to this person who offended me, or what I was going to do the next day, and what would happen if this happens. And I used to have all these imaginary conversations, and I lived in the future quite a bit. Was not even aware of it because it was my autopilot. I could go on my day to day without even knowing that because this is happening in the background, right? All that noise in my mind happening in the background. So what I want to give to you or share with you is a technique you can start using today to become aware of where you're living in. Are you living in the past? Or are you living in the future? Or are you living in the present moment? Remember, if you're ruminating over something bad that has happened in the past, it's still releasing the same chemicals that got released. Cortisol gets pumped into your body. The same chemicals that got released when you went through the traumatic event, when you went through that painful event. And if you're imagining some kind of painful event happening in the future, it is the same fight and flight response that's kicking in. And why are we damaging our bodies this way, right? Once I started to realize that, and again, let me tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy to change our old patterns of thinking, but we can start with awareness, and we can start one step at a time. So today, all you're going to do, this is an easy technique I wanted to share with you, is, okay, so let's say you're washing your dishes, right? Take a break and just notice, where were your thoughts while you were washing the dishes? Were you living in the past? Were you ruminating over something that had happened? Or were you living in the future? And what I want you to say, while you're doing your dishes, you take that moment and you look, hey, this thought was in the past. Say to yourself, I was living in the past. I want you to actually verbally say that. And that you'll find, or if you're living in the future, you say, I was living in the future. And that you'll find over time helps you just cut off that thought, or else you just get engaged in that thought process and you get carried away. But just by stating that, hey, I'm living in the past or I'm living in the future, helps you come into the present moment. And this is an easy to do or easy to use technique that can bring you into the present moment, that can cut off whatever rabbit hole you were going to get into. All right, guys, so this is the technique I wanted to share with you. Easy to use, right? And just remember to take that break from whatever you're doing. So driving, right? Another autopilot thing, we don't think too much. Sometimes we can get caught up in our thoughts. Take a moment, take a break, suddenly stop. Hey, where is my thought? Right? Is it in the past? Oh, is it in the future? Right? Say it out loud. Oh, I was living in the past. I was living in the future. All right. Let's come to the present moment, right? All right. So hopefully this really helps, because this is a game changer. I know it sounds so simple to use, but trust me on this. This is going to change your life. And this is step one. All right, you guys, I want to thank you again for watching this episode. Make sure to go check out my website. It's www.rewiringminds.com, which is basically www.rewiringminds.com. I have a free PDF of a guided journal that you can start using to rewire your mind. So in the guided journal, you are basically going to rewire your mind to see more positive things in your life. So go check it out, print it out, start using it today. Start rewiring your mind to think more positively, to release more positive chemicals into your body. Chemicals like DHEA that are anti-aging. So start releasing that. Start releasing hormones like serotonin and dopamine. And that's what this guided journal is all about. So go get your free copy. It's on www.rewiringminds.com. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I love you guys and have a wonderful week ahead. Bye for now.